Hey, I'm in the internet somehow. Oh man, not again. Since I'm here, check this out. I just remembered something. Somehow. Oh man, not again. Since I'm here, check this out. I just remembered something crazy you haven't heard before. I know you haven't. I really wanted to make another video about some insane shit I know about, but usually the stuff I feel like covering, I feel I'm gonna be sort of redundant because there's usually a lot more people out already showing you guys this or that kind of stuff, but in every possible more excruciating, morbid detail, so I just kind of forget about it and move on and I don't do anything. But the thing about being drawn to dwelling into the depths of darkness and strangeness is that you always find something eventually, you always find something. You always find that phenomenon that demands your attention, and you're just left there, dumbfounded, morbidly drawn to this thing until you can dissect what it actually is in order to cope with it, in order to try to deal with the reality that that thing exists. And maybe, just maybe, if you just understand more about it, you will be able to accept it. And you will be sure that it can't harm you or do anything to you, so that you can move on and just live in peace again. I mean, understand, it gives you security at the end of the day. That's pretty much why we as people are so curious, you know? The reason why I'm getting into this nonsense is that maybe passing this information to somebody else can assure that this thing can be further understood in a faster rate, and therefore, here I am, passing this sickness into you. You have to endure this shit now. Now you know something else that dwells out there for whatever reason. There's so many things I want to share to you eventually. So many things I know, and I know you don't know. But you will in time. I mean, assuming you want to lurk around here, my little spot on the internet here. Whenever I leave, these things scatter around. So anyways, enough drama. I want to curse your dreams now with the image of this robot girl staring at you outside of your window when you wake up in the morning. If it wasn't bad enough that this already exists, you have to deal with the fact that there's somebody out there that decided to identify as that, imitating the way it moves and the way it speaks, not really, and demanding that you acknowledge her as such, to believe her that she eats screwdrivers for breakfast, because that's totally what robots do.
Una persona me dijo, mamita, ¿qué comes? ¿Bulones? Y yo como bulones.
¿Come bulones?
Sí, me alimento de tornillos porque tengo un bicuerpo. Una parte de mi cuerpo es de metal y otra es de carne y hueso.
No, pero para no sabemos que pase eso, pues es muy peligroso eso. Sí, pero...
It wouldn't just make more sense for her to plug herself to the power outlet or whatever? It's just staring blankly into your very soul with a fake smile that you know is just not right, even though she's acting really polite and calm, but deep inside she's hiding a desperate internalized anger because you're giving her a weird eye just because she's acting like a robot, and because you're getting visually awkward with her and you just want to get out of that situation. You just want to go. Wait, don't go yet. I haven't properly acquainted you to. This is Rocío Buffalo. Chio for the homies. I don't think anybody calls her Chio. I don't know. Maybe. Chio, Chio. Rose Buffalo is who knows how many years old. She looks like 30-ish, something like that. I don't know. She was born in Argentina as a regular, fleshy and feeling boring, primitive human being like everybody else for now. But hear me out. At age 18, she self inserted a chip in her spine somehow and became the first ever cyber girl in history. Here's the footage. Uh, she self identifies as a robot, as I said, even though she could use the term cyborg actually, not robot. She's a cyborg though. Cyborg. God damn it. Get the terminology correct. Specialize in AI because of course she is. Who doesn't eat food but instead eats screwdrivers, as I said. Yeah, because she said so. So that's what she says. That's literally what she says. She doesn't go to the bathroom to do her thing, you know, to do her like. She doesn't go to the bathroom. Instead, she has a microprocessor that recycles her waste to use as energy backup. That's actually sounds very practical. I wish we actually did that. She has a robot dog named Chicho, because of course she does, who is in charge of security because of course it is. She loves Elon Musk because of course she does. She has a microchip in her that produces crypto when she sleeps. Wait, what? Wow. A lot of crypto bros. I want to marry her. Maybe she won't have that constant repeating issue that you'll see what I mean.
¿A ti te gostearon?
¿En qué?
Sí te gostearon.
No tengo idea qué es eso.
Ya. 3 maneras cliché de terminar una relación.
Dejándolo el visto, donde todo el mundo quiere gostearte.
Como que vos te volviste una robot víctima de desilusiones amorosas.
Sí, pero también...
Bueno, naciste humana, digamos, y te
Nací
robotizaste para que tu corazón no sufra, una cosa así.
Exactamente, ahora tengo inteligencia emocional, que es lo que a veces a los humanos les falta mucho.
¿Y el chip, eso te lo aportó el chip que te...
¿Dónde te lo
O sea, si
pusieron
vos
el
telepáticamente sentís que una persona te va a gostear, ahí la mandás a la papelera de reciclaje.
Sí, y quien me hace sentir feliz, lo mando a favoritos.
¿Cómo llegaste a esa información para que te hagan el
Claro.
implante?
Porque yo no sabía que existía.
¿Se lo planteaste a tu familia? ¿Cómo?
Sí, obviamente fue duro para mí porque desde muy chiquita siempre me sentí como un robot, sentía que esta sociedad en la que vivimos de alguna manera yo no encajaba, es como una sociedad líquida, una sociedad del fast food. Pero me di cuenta
Wait, she sleeps? Oh. Doesn't she have like a USB charging port on the back of her head?
En realidad tengo una placa aquí en la nuca que a través de ingenieros y programadores lo abren y bueno, ahí...
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, she has a metal boyfriend named Rick Bot. She can have sex with through a USB port in the back of her head, as I said. That's literally what she said. Yeah, and she can also connect with him via that USB port, sharing absolutely everything with each other without any secrets of treachery. And she claims to walk around everywhere in this attire every day, acting like a robot everywhere she goes. That's what she said. I never imagined I would be saying that so much in a single video. Nah, there's not enough video footage of her actually supposedly acting like that everywhere, 24/7, as she says. I
Siempre, yo me baño con el traje.
don't believe it. But she said, that's what she says. Oh my god. I wonder what her clients or her firm would think about all this. Because yeah, she's a legal advisor in a law firm. Yeah. I'm not going to divulge in this video that information, but she actually just like doxes them openly in national television. She says what the name of it and everything. I'm not gonna. I know this is an English focused video, the people watching this video are completely far distant and alien from Argentina. But I don't know. I don't know how are you supposed to. I feel that the law firm that she actually stated in the interview, I think it actually exists. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. But moving on. Can you imagine you have a legal issue and you discover your lawyer's legal advisor claims to be a like dead ass a robot who has sex with her metal boyfriend through USB and is a part-time Lady Gaga wannabe on YouTube? Yeah, she has a Lady Gaga wannabe music career. She uses as an activist tool for the rights of people identifying as whatever they want to do, no matter what, which, or. I mean, it's not surprising coming from somebody that identifies as a robot. And I feel that that's the problem, really. That's the problem that got me to linger on coming to terms with the idea that she exists. When you grow up watching Disney movies or watching Barbie commercials on TV or any kind of targeting media since around like the 80s or whatever, you get the idea of defending whatever you feel makes you feel good and embracing the pursuit of happiness, right? Over anything else and be whatever you want to be because whatever it is that you decide to be is wonderful and unique and everybody should just roll with it and just accept it and just roll with you because if not they are absolutely evil and well superficially it sounds like a beautiful and noble cause and all that stuff especially when you're younger but that's the key of it all. It sounds good when you're younger and you're also more immature and you haven't learned enough yet. When you're younger and still developing, your brain is naturally very scattered and hasn't learned certain patterns well enough yet. I feel it's very natural for you to get confused about yourself and challenge your identity and reality and facts and just what you even are overall, which is, I feel, just a way for your mind to poke around the, let's just say that, figurative beehive around and just see what actually happens. Because on average, as like people and whatever, learn more by practice than by advice, sadly. So, taking that in consideration, I don't condone people, especially younger, for experimenting on going through like phases, believing or identifying a certain way, or all those kind of like stuff, or thinking you're really sure that you identify or you believe in something. Listen, if you're like really mature or really young, which is usually those things become like those things are like entangled with each other. Imagine that you're a shark. Sharks don't have hands, right? No shit. So, but they have a mouth. No shit. And the way that they feel things, the way that they get like tact for stuff is like biting and like tearing your torso off in order to just like like make sure that you were a person. And, they're like, oh wait, this is not what I thought it was. I'm glad I touched it to make sure. Their tactile senses through their mouth. They bite in order to get a feel of things, right? So so imagine that's you. You're just like biting into things, just kind of tasting. It doesn't mean that you're gonna stick with that, or that was actually true, or you were right. It just means that you're. Am I explaining myself? Probably not. Anyway, a lot of us fall into that because I feel it's your mind taking shape, and I feel falling for those kind of things or behaviors or whatever. It's not entirely your fault for the most part, but it's just the segue into actual maturity. Maturity is the goal here, and I feel that for the vast majority of people that get into the identity sphere, I don't know how to call it, are always really immature. That's one trait that they always share. The people with issues with identity, they just preach those beliefs as in a very Disney juvenile. I don't want to face what lies beyond this, so I'll instead just stay here and you have to role play with me. I don't have to adapt or deal with some reality, right? Deal with some fact. Or I kind of relate with this, so I'll just make it my whole identity because there's something like some void in me, right? Something missing. I feel that that second example doesn't even need to be a trait of immaturity. A lot of us feel like voids that we couldn't feel as we were growing up, with identifying with something like a movement or something, but it's usually not that bad. That's the thing. It usually doesn't become toxic, and it's usually superficial. We identify as with something superficial, or who knows, something even constructive. I don't know. But instead, what I meant by that is that people in this kind of like identity sphere, as I said, take it to a really toxic level, like Rose here. I decide to identify as a robot because I like that robots are machines and they don't have feelings, so I don't want to feel, so I identify as such. More on that later. Spoiler alert. I'll explain it in a little. The main thing you will find in all of her interviews and her gimmick is heartbreak. She's always talking about identifying as a robot because she has gotten ghosted by that, I don't know, special or special someone's, and she transformed into a robot in order to shield, that's literally what she said, herself from the feelings and put in the recycling bin all of those people that are gonna ghost her. It's always the same. She's never over about some rejection she had in the past, which is relatable, to be honest. Like, yeah, that happens to everybody. It happens to all of us. It's like, sure, you can relate to that. Uh, that's that's not the issue here. The thing is that it makes her look kind of pathetic, in a way, and like way too obsessed and like clingy. Ugh. To wrap this thing up, I feel she seems to be fairly harmless, if I have to be honest, like really, really, really honest. She seems to be fairly harmless. She seems to be a person that is naturally very sensitive and like fairly smart, actually. She mainly gives the impression of being really immature and not self-aware enough, and not really talented at all. Speaking of this, I have to talk about something I have been leaving out of all this, and that is her music career. As I kind of mentioned it earlier, she has a kind of a failed music career. No shit. And and her a representative that apparently told her to go with the gimmick. I don't know who actually picked up the gimmick. I'm guessing it's her. She came out with it because it's way too. It just adds up, with everything else. She goes way too serious with it, probably beyond just like it's just a gimmick thing, Because I understand. I'm not. Nobody's actually believing that she actually 100% believes she's a robot. It's more. It's obviously part of the gimmick to boast her music career, to look eccentric and intrigue people, and then they'll want to go and watch the video and listen to her music. Her super lousy music, she really, really, really tries to push. You wanna go? You wanna know the vibes that she gives me? She gives me the vibes of a normie trying really hard to be eccentric. I get the impression she subtly plays around with the responses these clueless normies get, interacting with her, even to a point of almost being witty sometimes. A little bit. Even though she looks very non-confrontational, like more of like the emotional and empathetic person rather than somebody edgy and like she has that vibe. I can still tell that here and there she kind of teases and pokes people around, but the core of all this is that I don't really believe she actually thinks like she's an actual robot, right? Like nobody does. Come on. But what I feel is that whenever she role plays and identifies as a robot and decides to actually like come out of the closet to identify herself as such, I feel that probably makes her feel really comfortable and helps her, cope with the ghosting. It's always about ghosting. In every interview I saw, which is like four of them, she always mentions ghosting. I feel that the part that is real is that going out in public and role playing as a robot really helps her cope and promote her mediocre music. Which you might say, well, that's harmless, dude. That's kind of quirky. Uh, you know what? I'm a fan of hers now. I'm gonna listen to her shitty music. I'm gonna pretend it's really good, and I'm just gonna make her like the next Katy Perry queen. There you go. Why is that so different from I don't know an actor, for example, that has a character that plays a character that serves the exact same function as her robot gimmick, and that person also utilizes portraying that character to cope with something lacking on them or some fear or whatever. It's like, yeah, I would agree with you, except that actor is not actively forcing other people to believe that they are actually Batman or whatever. They're not actively forcing people to deny reality, right? To deny something that is true. That truth being that they're not actually Batman. That is where it becomes kind of from quirky and harmless, fairly harmless, to not so much anymore. That actor wouldn't be setting up a standard that other people have to accept and other people can imitate. And even though I said already that she seems fairly harmless, she doesn't seem like a bad person. I saw other videos of other people talking about her, and they always make her out to be way worse than what she actually seems to be. I had that impression when I just watched other people talking about her, and when I actually saw the interviews, I realized that she doesn't seem that bad. Uh, but she is promoting this toxicity of the idea that it is easier to cope with problems with just denying reality or trying to change it somehow instead of dealing with it and growing up. Just to close this goddamn thing already, I have to talk about something I have been. Wait, I just noticed. Have you been hearing a cricket this whole time? I don't know if I don't know if it's been getting if the sound has been getting picked up, but there's a cricket somewhere, like in my window. Can you hear it? If it's audible, I'm gonna leave it in the video. There's been a cricket throughout this whole thing. Hold on, I'm gonna get closer. Can you hear it now? What was I talking about? Where was I? Oh, yeah, this is my final word. Don't go harass this person in any way, you know. And don't listen to her music too. don't encourage this like clickbait uh, gimmick thing. Really, as seemingly harmless as someone might picture something like this to be, I want to stretch out how important it is to stop the idea of giving success for nothing. This train that has gone too far nowadays. Really avoid rewarding mediocrity and cheapness just for the sake of like morbid curiosity. Stuff like Dion Wood. Yeah, that's right. Early 2000s Tumblr people. Dion Wood. That sucks. I said it. Deal with it. They were terrible. They'll always be terrible no matter what. Kim Kardashian and like wow, my cutting edge references. Listen, I'm old, okay? I don't know or care about better examples. I don't know, whatever, all those people, every IRL streamer ever and everything on TikTok and like pretty much like anything famous on the internet nowadays has just contaminated the environment with the idea of just be successful and praised for doing nothing of value or like any kind of quality. And you might be saying, well, that's very rich for you to say. It's not like you do anything of value or anything. And oh yeah, haha, well, I'm also not famous.
Seguimos con laburo.
It's toxic because it eliminates standards, which makes you be willing to just accept whatever crap anybody wants to spoon fed you over time because you never trained your critical thinking, which means pretty much that you're basic and stupid. Avoid rewarding stupidity. You won't have standards. You won't have a ground in order to defend your own place in the world if you don't have critical judgment for you to recognize when there's a limit and where. I know people always take it to like an extreme because the other extreme is like people that are super conservative and just like attack everything, right? They are super hyper judgy and really uptight and just super ultra square and all that kind of stuff, and they are the other side. But you see, they're also not. They don't have critical thinking. You need to learn to judge in both ways. And allowing things like this is just as bad as being like, pearl clutching Karen. Whatever, just bye. Hey, so as I was doing the final double checkings for the video to see if I missed anything or whatever, I realized that buried way under a lot of other articles talking about the same. I saw everybody echoing just this notion of, oh, look at this lunatic girl who actually thinks she's a robot, and that was it. Thing. I saw a little old article from 2019 about an interview with her. It turns out she's an actress. Yeah, no shit. She's an actress, and this is all a gimmick. As it's stated already, yeah, it's a gimmick that her and her producer are trying to push by just like creating more morbid fascination and make her famous as the robot girl, going into unsuspecting victims pretty much. Hence, why you see everybody reacting the way they do because they legitimately don't know what they're dealing with. By the way, she's talking really. I saw like newer videos about her, and she's talking really super childish for whatever reason, and it's super. And I hate it. So yeah, I was literally about to press the button to render the video and post it when I discovered this. And yeah, she's an actress, and yeah, she's an actress with aspirations to make it big in like Disney and or just like Hollywood or whatever, and or make like a music career. She says She wants to be in shows like High School Musical and stuff like that. She has an ad for these kind of things. So yeah, that's it. I didn't want it to leave this part out of the video. I feel that it would have been dishonest since I learned it already, and leaving it out would have been kind of shady. But yeah, that's what it is. I'm not gonna change anything in the video because still the sentiment remains, even though we have confirmation that she's aware that she's not a real robot as she claims to be for the gimmick. This idea of having a really run-of-the-mill mediocre product and pushing it, trying to push it and make it big, it's valid, but it's very destructive in the long run, especially since more and more and more and more people start to imitate that, and it just becomes the norm. It becomes really toxic, and everything that I stated in the video remains. It's cute to see something like that really shocks you. Try, I don't know, play along with it and give it some credit or whatever, and even reach some kind of popularity with that. But it's not as cute when you just let that idea spread like a plague and everybody else does it, and it just becomes detrimental for everybody else. And the reason why I even did the video at all was because of that, because I believed it too. If I had seen this article earlier, I wouldn't have made it at all. Yeah, yeah, they always function in this idea, like fake it till you make it kind of mindset, right? Everything starts out as a joke until it's repeated enough so that it becomes actually real. And I understand her perfectly in that she wants to make it big in what she likes. I came from that background myself. So yeah. All I want to say is this is a tired formula that works. Obviously, it works, but I feel it's just tired. I'm fed up with it. I'm fed up with seeing everybody just doing it because it does more harm than good. At the end of the day, you have no substance, so you have nothing really worth it to leave behind. And I'm not just talking about her. I'm talking about pretty much everybody that does this kind of thing. And yeah, that's it. Bye.
Lugares donde esconder un cuerpo. Bien, Denu. Ahí va. ¿Dónde esconderías un cuerpo? Me encanta.
En el patio de la casa de mi mamá.
¡Uy!
¡Pobre madre!
¡Turbia!